But he also did like Tombstone, Born Legacy, Fast 5, Captain America. He's on Yellowstone now. Then Thomas Fisher was doing the special effects. Special effects, you already know this, but for the listener, they're the stuff that's rigged, that's practical, the explosions or the rigging and all that kind of stuff. They had Thomas Fisher did Titanic, True Lies, Batman Forever, 13th Warrior, First Blood, Last of the Mohicans. And then the visual effects was done by Christian Alsman, who had worked on Attack of the Clones, Rogue One, Ready Player One, Munich. Bonkers, man. And then $165 million. Add some inflation, that's $200 million. And no one said no to him. So he had the best in the business, and no one saying no.
Can you even think of a movie that's similar to this? Like, you just do whatever you want? Like, what's another one
John
that
Carter,
comes close?
I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Lone Ranger.
I haven't seen Lone Ranger. John Carter is a pretty rough watch. Yeah.
I would say Shyamalan's, like, The Happening.
That's interesting. I haven't seen The Happening.
Oh, it's beautiful. And a lot of people make fun of it, but I love it. So then there's, let's see. I mean, there's
Spielberg's 1941.
Yes, Spielberg's 1941.
Yeah.
I would say when I think of people at the height of their power. Silence by Scorsese. Yeah, I think that there is. But that's what I love, man. You can trace some of these Van Helsing-esque movies, the Happening-esque movies, 1941-esque movies, to just blank checks and total autonomy to make their own film. And you know what's interesting about 1941 and movies like that? People still talk about it. So, I mean, he did something right, I guess, because it's insane. Which
well, I mean, we're covered on your podcast. So yeah.
Hey, can I tell you my number 5?
Yeah.
It's when all the babies that are born, they wipe out an entire village. By the way, brutally. It's basically I think Jurassic World ripped off that scene from. It really did. But also they ripped off Blade too. Van Helsing did. So we can't give it too much credit. But they all when they die, when they turn off the electricity, or when the werewolf can't be the conduit, they just pop like popcorn. Just like yeah, they just pop and they all blow up.
So weird.
Yeah, it's insane. After this brutal attack, they just pop like popcorn. So that's my number 5.
Yeah. I mean, the question I have is, would they grow up to be big vampire bats? Like, I don't understand how the physiology of it works.
That's a great question. I mean, they can all turn into bats, it appears. So maybe when they get older, they can learn to become looking like a human?
Yeah. And one of the things that really bothered me about them trying to make all their children come alive is scarcity of resource. So they were like, the villagers were like, they only take 1 or 2 of us a month. And I like started to figure out that math, and I was like, oh, so it's like a little over a fourth of a liter per week for a vampire. But if you have 100 vampires, you're going to clear out that village pretty quickly. And then what are you going to do?
World domination.
Yeah, but he didn't seem to want world domination.
No.
It just sounded like he was like, my wives are sad and I wanted to get them off my back. So I tried to make my babies.
Yep. I am not. Well, he also is mad at God. He wants to prove he is God, right? So he just says, I'll give him babies, and then I'll be God. Like that's his. Okay. I do. Oh, no, I'll save it. I'll save it for my number 4. But do you want your number 4?
Yeah, I'll do my number 4. And I hopefully this is on your list too. O'Connor as Igor.
Oh, brilliant! Because
he's good. He's so
good.
It's
what I do.
Yeah, he's just everything he's in. I immediately laugh because I love his character so much. And this movie, the scene that got me was he was running and zapping Carl in the butt.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I was like, this is so dumb, and I just started laughing out loud.
On their bridge fight.
Yeah, and then he falls and he just continues holding on to it, which is another really good choice because he's always with that thing. Oh, awesome.
I love that guy, man. So on the commentary they said that the actor said that he runs every day, like at least like 10 miles, and so he would always be running on set. And they're like, he's super skinny, man, but he's ripped. So, I guess he's super skinny, but he's like a marathon runner, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I learned something about Kevin J. O'Connor in there that made me happy. All right, so, oh man, there's so many scenes, and I just had my number 4. Oh yeah, okay, it's on the bridge, where Carl. Okay, so here's the deal. Anna Valerius is fighting a vampire, but then Frankenstein goes and starts fighting a vampire and wings her against the wall. I mean, thunk, right against the wall. The poor vampire, Alira, gets smashed against the wall. But then we realize that in some viscous material, which they bring up a lot, there is a antidote for Van Helsing's werewolf, because he got bit by her brother. So she is swinging on a rope that's, I don't know, 3 miles high, and she is swinging across it a good quarter mile. And while she's swinging, Carl sees her, and actually he has the antidote in a big needle, a large needle. We're talking about a foot long, very heavy. And she goes, "Carl, throw it to me." And Carl wings it a good 50 yards through rain and night, and then perfectly, while she's moving, perfectly in her hands. So Carl is the Brett Favre of, oh, that's old. Carl is the Patrick Mahomes of Friars. I mean, that guy wings that vial.
Did he underhand it?
I don't think
He might have
so.
underhanded it.
Then he's the Hoosiers of that. But that's I love this movie.
So that scene has a couple really weird parts to it. So the first part is that Carl's trying to get across the bridge, and the bridge is partially broken out. And instead of, crossing this really narrow path, he tosses it to Illyria, or Anna. But why wouldn't he just go across the path in the first place? Because they both basically ended up in the same place, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, she's swinging, so technically she's moving a lot faster than him. And where she lands is maybe easier to get into, so she's going to have a good 100 yards head start, because she still has another quarter mile to swing from that rope that's 3 miles in the air. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay, that makes sense. I'll let that one go.
Hey,
nice. The second one is when she hits the castle and just takes a massive L. It's one of the most brutal animated falls I have ever seen in any film. It just keeps going, and I was like, she should be dead. Like she falls like 30 feet, bounces off 2 things, and doesn't die, but she dies when she gets hit by Van Helsing at the end.
And lands on a couch.
And lands on a couch,
In this movie, she whaps against trees. She's picked up constantly. Her legs are never disjointed from being pulled around. She's dropped far distances and caught and smashed and smacked around. But, yeah, it falls off, gets whapped around carriages. But, yeah, the chair death.
Maybe it's armoire.
Oh, yeah, armoire death.
Okay.
Maybe the hit got her. Maybe he crunched her with the punch.
All right, so my third, we've chatted a little bit about this, is the costume for Van Helsing.
Oh,
I think it looks really good. I think it's reminiscent of Solomon Kane, that old pulp character.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I dig it. He is really unique. Like when you saw him walking on set, you knew who this guy was. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say other than like, good job. Looks real good.
It looks beautiful. And the costume designer in this was big business. So the costume designer was Gabriella Pestucci. And so she has a huge, she's won an Oscar before. She did The Age of Innocence and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and The Brothers Grimm and The Name of the Rose. So, she has been just, Les Miserables. She did Dangerous Beauty. Scarlet Letter. So, she knew what it was, I guess, to be this is her wheelhouse, I guess, is this movie. Yeah, no.
What's so strange, but like Van Helsing stands out, but I don't think the other characters stand out that much. Mm-mm. Anna does a little bit with the corset, but not really. It's just Van Helsing. Whenever you see him, you're like, okay, there he is. But everyone else can sort of blend in a little bit.
That Cirque du Soleil thing that they had, Beckinsale's dress though is cool. Blood red.
Yeah,
that's a good design in there. But yeah, they just stuffed her in corsets for most of it. Yeah, but Jack, I love the hat. I tell you what though, they were right. You have that silhouette, and you could recognize it anywhere now, I guess. So you would know Van Helsing. So Sommers was successful in that regard. And also Solomon Kane. Solomon Kane, that was played by James Purefoy in a movie. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I haven't seen a movie. Yeah. No.
And Purefoy, man, I'm on screen with him, man. I had to wrestle with him in the following.
What?
You didn't
know this?
Yeah, so I worked.
No, not at all.
Oh man, I worked on. So I've been thrown into like a bunch of movies I was working on, but I was working on The Following, the pilot, and they were shooting in Atlanta, and then they ended up moving it to L.A. or New York if it got picked up, because a lot of pilots shoot in Atlanta. It was cheaper at the time. So I was on set, and they cast these two tiny cops, and Purefoy's a big dude. Bacon's tall. Bacon's about 6 foot. So they're like, this isn't gonna work. So they put me and the stunt coordinator in as cops, and I got double pay, which was awesome. But they said to me, all right, Mark, here's what you got to do. Purefoy is wearing real handcuffs, and he is handcuffed to the table. You have to run in, unhandcuff him, take those handcuffs, attach it to his waist, and then carry him out. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can do this. I spent 8 hours that day running in and unhandcuffing him for real, like for real. Handcuffed, attach it, carry him out. I just gave up towards the end and I just kind of stopped attaching it because no one saw it on screen. But at the end of the day, the creator, I guess Kevin Williamson was like, hey man, like what was the deal with those handcuffs? It seemed tough. I'm like, they were real. And he was like, they were real? I'm like, yeah, man. Like I think I was just drinking a cup of coffee, just acting depressed because it was a long day. And he's like, oh, you did a great job then. Because they were mad at me for most of the day, but then they realized that I was using real handcuffs all day. So I'm 0 degrees from Bacon, because in The Following, if you watch the end of The Following, that show, you'll see me as a cop who runs in there and carries him away. So that's, I guess if you want to, yeah.
Deal with the handcuffs. Wow.
Yeah, that was a gnarly day, man. So that's my, I wasn't trying to, see, I thought you knew that story, but I didn't
know that story. That's amazing.
I'm 1 degree I'm 0 degrees from Kevin Bacon. I've been on screen with him.
Yeah. So we're never going to do a Kevin Bacon off because you're going to win.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And also she did Penny Dreadful too, man. I love that show. So
it's really good.
Beautifully designed show to do. So wait, that was your 3, right? You've had your 3?
Yeah, that was my 3.
Oh man. Okay. So I'm going to go with this when we first get introduced to Dracula in color, when he explodes from the glass and then moves up. And he's screaming. But what my number 3 is when he jumps in the air and does that hand flip where he lands real. You know what I'm talking about? Where he has the hand up in the air. Yeah. And it's just bonkers, dude. It's just you watching like, what? Oh, that's a choice. And I love it. And he's like, I have no heart. They're like, have a heart. But then he's like, I have no heart. So he can't feel anything, but he can get angry. That doesn't make sense. But that's my number 3. All right.
Biology doesn't make sense in this movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I guess this would be my number 2, is the cow toss. There's no reason for it to be in the movie, but it's funny.
And the cow lives.
Funny. Like, you're like, yeah, the cow lives. They don't kill the cow. Cow's on the second floor of a building, and it's out of nowhere. But I laughed. It got exactly what it wanted out of me.
I mean, they threw this. I mean, so they attempt to kill cows, and they kill 2 people a month.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me that they just don't understand that you could keep some people hostage and drain them. Even the real Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula knew that. He's like, I'm not going to kill Harker. I'm going to just keep him around for a little while. And like same with the woman, the friend in London. He's like, I'm not going to, like, you got to just be smart about this.
Lucy, right? Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful cow scene, and then the cow just lives. Like that's $5,000 right there. That's $20,000 right there because they just wanted to throw a cow through a building. I love it.
Blank check.
Oh, I love it. All right, so yeah, blank check. Let's see. My number 2 is, and this is just another bonkers moment, but they're at the vampire ball, Cirque du Soleil kind of moment, and I do love how Van Helsing rescues Kate Beckinsale because he jumps on, he goes to jump across, what is he? He swings across something. What do you call those people?
Trapeze.
Trapeze. And he's just like, whoa! He gets in over his head, and he gets worried. But after he rescues her, all the vampires go to chase him. But I love when Anna Valerius just grabs this mace and starts swinging it like she's gonna fight them all. And this is a weird touch. But I just love that Anna was like, she's a fighter in this movie. She didn't want to run. She wanted to bonk all those people on the heads with a mace.
Yeah.
And then die.
What was really interesting.
And they had to pull her away.
what was really interesting about that scene is then the director's commentary, they were like, Van Helsing has a terrible